So I specifically had to make a video replying to this comment because you're right. I didn't do no research on who her husband is, but after I did some digging and found some information on what's really going on, the story's crazy. Because not only he's married to an informant, he was very close friends to another guy who also became an informant, who later got killed for being that. And Jay-Z is very close to these two people who are very known for having informants in their circles. Let's get into it. So OG Juan Perez had the streets shaking in Harlem, 1988. Juan was Rich and Alpo's supplier towards the end of Rich's life. When Alpo mentioned the plug that Rich got the bricks from and how he thought that Rich increased the price on the bricks based off the plug's price, that was OG Juan. Juan never increased the price of the bricks that he sold to Rich. The story is, alleged, considering that Alpo was the only one allowed to tell it. Juan ended up getting out the game and partnered with Jay-Z to create the 4040 Club, and is the national president of Roc Nation. His wife, Desiree Perez, was involved in, the drug indictment and all that with the cartel, major kingpins, in exchange for 5 years probation, which she ended up getting pardoned for. But she helped law enforcement take down drug organizations. Some of y'all might ask, why does this matter? Or why is it so deep? Well, if y'all don't know who Rich and Alpo is, them was the kingpins in Harlem, like big time kingpins. But Alpo specifically was a very dangerous man who ended up becoming an informant. Let me give y'all the background on who Alpo is, because this is crazy. So Alpo is a kingpin back in the 1980s who later became a federal informant. He was so determined to fix his disgraced reputation in Harlem until somebody had him ran down and killed him. So let's get into it. Alpo was just 13 when he started selling in East Harlem. The business proved to be, lucrative for him, and Martinez ended up earning a good reputation and a passion for driving expensive cars and street bikes. But of course, like any other person, he was an attention seeker and an adrenaline junkie. Despite being young, Alpo Martinez also proved himself to be brutal and willing to kill his rivals. Usually he hired hitmen to do it, but sometimes he would get his hands dirty too. Which he also helped carry out the murder of his former partner and very, very close friend, Rich Porter, in 1990, after he suspected that Porter had cut him out of important deals and mentioned that it ain't personal, it's just business. Less than a year later, after killing his close friend, he tried to expand his business to Washington, D.C., but ended up getting arrested and was facing trafficking charges. He was offered a deal and became a federal witness in exchange for a lessened sentence. He took the deal and sold out his friends and partners. He pleaded guilty to contracting 7 murders, and his testimony effectively brought DC's drug infrastructure to its knees. So of course things like that ain't taken lightly in the streets, and he had a target on his back, and he was ended up being placed in witness protection program, and they gave him a new name, Abraham Rodriguez. He ended up temporarily turning his life around. They gave him a new apartment, a new ID that matched his name. His neighbors liked him. He played community basketball with people in the neighborhood and stuff like that, and nobody knew who his real background was, what his real background was. And 2 years later, he founded his own construction business, all that good stuff, his workers and all that. Like I said, didn't know who he was. But then eventually his old lifestyle kept calling his name, and he just had to go back to Harlem. He just had to make his way back to New York. He would eventually pop out in Harlem every here and there, like showing his face but trying not to. And the locals was basically saying he was like Bigfoot. Some people would say they see him, but a lot of people didn't believe that he was actually back. So he ended up messing up and voiding his conditions of witness protection as early as 2018. He even went as far as doing an interview, bringing the interviewer to the spot where he killed Rich Porter. He was like, yeah, it happened right here at this light. I just killed him. Somebody that I love, somebody that I was getting money with, somebody I called my brother. I had to pick him up and dump his body and leave him in the woods. By 2020, he was in Harlem so much that he barely was ever in Lewiston, where his witness protection program was supposed to be set at. And he was determined to fix his reputation until he was later gunned down on October 31st, 2021. They say he struck a man named Shaquem Parker with his motorcycle, who didn't let the situation go and eventually saw him rolling around in his Dodge truck and let loose on him, and that's what caused his demise.